Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Costantino Lee, and I am the Marketing and Promotions Manager over at the Santa Barbara Independent. Thank you so much for tuning into today's Downtown Business Spotlight. For those who don't know, Downtown Business Spotlight is an interview series hosted by the Santa Barbara Independent and Downtown Santa Barbara, where we interview and highlight Santa Barbara businesses and what they are up to. So we are recording this conversation and it will be up on both independent.com and downtownsb.org for viewing afterwards, or if you want to share it with somebody. And you can also find all previous episodes online as well. And if you have any questions for any of our guests today, please put them in the chat or the Q&A box, and we will be sure to ask them. Our host today is Robin Elander. Robin is the Executive Director of Downtown Santa Barbara, and she'll be hosting the conversation today. So with that, I will turn it over to her.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily. This has been a really wonderful opportunity to highlight our downtown business owners. And today we have two amazing individuals who are going to be talking about our New Year's resolutions, taking care of our mind, body, and soul. And these two fabulous ladies have been doing just that for many years for our community members. So Mikki Reilly, she is the founder and owner of Fitness Transform Studio. And she has a degree from UCSB in exercise health and science communication. She's been a certified fitness trainer since 1992 and has so many prestigious celebrations. She has been a competitive bodybuilder and so many things. So I want to welcome Mikki to the show. Thank you for being here. And
thank you, Robin.
You're very welcome to be here. And then Adrienne Smith, she has been the owner of Power of Your Own Yoga, and she's the founder and owner there. She has a Tier 3 certified Baptiste influencer. She's been known to do classes all over town. She has a beautiful studio. Both have beautiful studios, and has been currently doing some classes at Soho. And we're going to talk a little bit more about both your backgrounds, how you got into this, and really how we should be taking care of ourselves in the middle of this crazy moment in time we're in. So Mikki, tell us a little bit about how you got started with your business and a little bit about what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I began as a personal trainer back in 1992, as you mentioned, and I trained at a local gym called Santa Barbara Gym and Fitness that was over on the corner of Garden and Coda. Super cool, kind of funky gym, but that closed in August of 2005. So I had been going to school at this time, and then in March of 2006, I graduated from UCSB, as you mentioned, with degrees in exercise and health science and communication. And then in the fall of 2006, I attended WEAVE, self-employment training, so Women's Economic Ventures. They have a 16-week course. And honestly, I went there to write a business plan for how to open my, to create the fitness studio that I had in my mind, and also to work on my business. So it took me a long time to find the location for my studio, but in 2012, I opened Fitness Transform here at 1213 State Street in downtown Santa Barbara. So kind of a coincidence, but at about the same time, I found a publisher for my book, and Your Primal Body, The Paleo Way to Living Lean, Fit, and Healthy at Any Age.
Congratulations on that. That's a big deal.
Thank you. And so for the first year, I brought in my existing client base, and I worked on the editorial process with my publisher. And then once the book came out, I got a lot of publicity for, being published and opening a studio downtown. And so that was how I launched my studio. And then as I began working downtown, At that time, the Victoria Theater was going through a major remodel, and there's a number of spaces in this corridor where my studio is that were vacant at that time. So there was a really big homeless problem. And so I joined the downtown organization's safety committee to try to help find a solution. And then eventually I joined the board of directors, where I am currently a member.
Yes, and we're so happy to have you serving in that role. So thank you. Well, what a trajectory. I'm so thankful for all you've been able to do for our community. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Adrienne, tell us how you got started in yoga and how you, when you opened your studio.
Sure. Thanks for having me first, Robin. And yeah, it's a joy to be a part of Santa Barbara's community fitness professionals. I think I met Mikki when I had first moved to town, and she was training at I think another gym in town. I don't even remember, but then I saw her because her studio is right down below mine. And it's just that smallness factor of Santa Barbara is actually what caused me to want to create like really roots here. So when I first moved to town in 2010, I still had a yoga studio back in Chicago. So that's how I got started, was outside of Chicago. I started to do yoga just because I had heard somewhere from someone that it was good for me. And it started with, it started with video classes online. I would do classes in my living room when it was still dark outside, and like, I don't know, just followed along with whatever the teacher was doing, didn't really know much about it. And then found my way to a studio when I was living in Wisconsin at the time. And the style of yoga that I'm now teaching was the style of yoga that was taught there. And there was just something about it. Sorry, my dog is here. There was something about it that was really
That's a beautiful dog. We just got to
introduce. He's going to have his way the whole time, I'm sure. He's like, why aren't you giving me attention? But so the style that they practice there, I don't know what it was, but it was a combination of heat and community, and just like my world was rocked after taking the first class. And I had not experienced that. I mean, it was like a spiritual transformation in an hour, but it was just because so much of what I was able to do was unexpected. And I didn't really know much about it. And a couple of years later, when I moved out of town and didn't have access to a studio, I decided to go take a training, tried to teach, and really just wanted to do things my own way instead of the ways that the other studio owners were having me do them. And that's how I started my business. And that was in 2008 outside of Chicago. And when I moved here, I was still running that studio. And I decided that obviously I didn't need to leave town anymore to get out of bad weather, because I lived in Santa Barbara, and I wanted to create roots here in a community here. And so that's how Power of Your Own got started. And we've been here, second floor, right above Arigato, for nine and a half years now. And yeah.
Congratulations. What a trajectory and what a story. And we're so happy for all you've been giving to our community. Tell us a little bit more about what this Baptiste style is.
Yeah, so Baptiste Yoga is like, if you put yoga into, there's so many different styles of yoga, but you can consider it like the vinyasa, the flow style, where you're connecting breath and movement. And it's considered power yoga, not from the sense of just like the physical postures, but more about creating your own personal power and taking three elements: physicalness, so a challenging practice, empowerment and possibility, and putting it into whatever length of class, whatever style of class. And it's typically practiced in a heated room, which obviously right now that's not where we're at. And some people can get really stuck on the fact that they want a heated practice and that they don't have that, and it's not needed. You can access your own personal power and, in your bathroom while you're doing a downward facing dog.
Very, very true. We have been undergoing so many changes. Both of you have had to endure the challenges of the pandemic. and the opening and closing and all of these things. What types of, what has been your journey along the way, and how have you needed to pivot your business? Mikki, do you want to talk a little bit about what that's been like for you?
Yeah, so prior to COVID, I offered private doubles and small group training in my studio only, and I didn't have any online virtual training at that time. And it was actually something that I had thought about because, people would move away and sometimes they'd want to continue training. And some people had read my book and they to work with me, and they lived in other parts of the country. So it was definitely something that I thought about, but I hadn't actually done. So it kind of, forced me. It was a good thing that happened as a result of COVID, was that I started doing online training. And so, when I was able to open my studio, I was doing a hybrid of both online and in studio. But once I'm able to open my studio again, so I had 8 members in here at a time when I was doing small group. And now I'm switching to more of a what I call a semi-private model, where there won't be any more than 4 members in here at a time training. So I've got like about 1,500 square feet here, and you can kind of see there's a lot of open space for people to train. So with 4 people in here at a time, and I have windows on, complete windows on 2 of the walls, so there's plenty of fresh air. There's plenty of room for social distancing, lots of fresh air, and that's the plan moving forward. Yeah. And also I had employees too before COVID, and now I do everything on my own. So things have changed a bit, right?
Wow. Well, I commend you for really trying to figure out and how to navigate this. It's not easy, and it's, one unique moment in time, but we do all need to practice and stay healthy, and being physical and eating well and really taking care of yourself now is really more important than ever. What are both of you suggesting to people, and how are you inviting people to take care of themselves now that either is similar or different? Adrienne, do you want to speak to that? And I'm hoping, I got a note that I'm not very loud, so I'm going to try to speak up a little bit and see if this helps a little bit. So Carolyn, do let me know if I'm speaking loud enough to be heard properly. So go ahead, Adrienne.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is movement is medicine. It doesn't matter how you're moving, but moving in a way that you're going to do it on a regular basis. So, one thing that I didn't include in my kind of bio is that I got started with yoga because I was running a lot, and that was just something that I started to add. And then I started to get into triathlons, and I still continue to do yoga. And I don't know my life as a triathlete and as a runner without yoga, because I've always been doing both of them as long as I've been like an adult and physical and active. But I will say that I can tell a difference when I get onto a yoga mat and how my body is. There's just a level of awareness that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I wasn't kind of taking a little bit more inward time, as opposed to just kind of banging out repetitions or running with music and, getting like really distracted. And so I say all that because it's really important to have movement, and then to also listen to what your body actually needs. Because sometimes, all of us are under like a whole nother layer of stress right now and uncertainty. Like, it's always been there, but it's just like it's the obvious thing. And we have to retreat a little bit to listen to like our inner self and what we actually really need, as opposed to like what's going on in the world and what everybody else, because there's a fix for everything. And that's what I would say from like a yoga standpoint, is to bring in that listening everywhere that you're at, so that you take care of yourself. And everything from getting more sleep, getting the sleep that you need, putting the right foods and water in your body, and those things come, like yoga is a practice of awareness and raising your consciousness. It's not just about like the physical movements that you do. And yeah.
Thank you. That's super helpful. Mikki, what would you say to that same idea? How can we be taking care of ourselves now that's similar or different than, last year per se, or even the year before that? Because last year.
Yeah, it's more challenging because I think that people really depend on the fitness industry to motivate and guide them a lot on how to stay healthy and fit, at least from my experience. So, I'm a big believer that most people need strength training and cardiovascular work to maintain their health on many levels. And, the thing about the pandemic is that, so many people are, they're staying inside and they're not getting out and getting the activity that they need, the movement that their body needs. And because they're so stressed out, they're eating more of the modern diet of high carbohydrates that inflames their body and causes them to actually have more problems than they would if they were kind of staying on their program. It's hard because I think a lot of people need the motivation from, the fitness industry or whomever that they were working with, prior to COVID. So I encourage people, my clients that I work with, that I'm working with online, of course, to continue strength training using kettlebells and free weights and all of that. And then to get out, a lot of people aren't going on the trails because they are too crowded, and the trails are actually kind of slippery right now because so many people have been on them out there. So, I'm encouraging my clients to walk up the hills wherever they live, go to the Riviera, go up to Mission Canyon, go find some places where they can walk hills and get at least their heart rate up. If you can't run up the steps at City College, there's so many restrictions right now, it's really hard, but in any way that anybody can find a way to exercise, I encourage them to do it.
Absolutely. Such important, good advice. Thank you, Mikki. And where do you see the fitness industry going at this point? There's so many changes. You mentioned a few things that you are both individually doing to change your business, but how do you see this playing out? Yes.
Okay. What I see is that, proactively improving the health of the population should be number one, because we need to minimize the ongoing and future burden of disease on healthcare. So, we need to address our susceptibility to infectious disease. So we've learned, over the course of the pandemic that the most prevalent comorbidities associated with COVID-19 are, related to suboptimal metabolic health. So they're just poor metabolic health. So when you consider the nature of these underlying conditions, such as obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, lifestyle-based approaches are probably one of the best tools we have to address the ongoing health crisis. So in a 2018 study, amazingly, it was a comprehensive study, researchers found that only 12% of American adults have optimal metabolic health. So, which is amazing. I couldn't believe it. And so the other 88, the remaining 88% have one or more measures that indicate that they have some type of metabolic dysfunction and that their bodies are not able to process or utilize fats and carbohydrates efficiently to produce energy. So one of the best lifestyle approaches that you can implement to improve your metabolic health is exercise, right? Because of how it affects metabolism. So, so many studies have shown that, people who work out are less likely than sedentary people to develop numerous health problems, including the comorbidities that we're speaking about. So if we were to implement other lifestyle-based approaches like intermittent fasting, a nutrient-rich diet, getting the right amount of, quality sleep every night, we could have a huge impact So at a time when the current pandemic is threatening to overwhelm the healthcare system, classifying the fitness industry as non-essential, I believe, is sending the wrong message to a population that is already too overweight and sedentary. So I personally feel that we are part of the solution, that we can help, and now and in the future. So, yeah.
Really wonderful background and kind of framing that for us. Adrienne, what would you say to what she spoke about, and how would you add to it?
Yeah, it's just to kind of tack on to what she was finishing with. It's a total bummer that as a industry we're classified as non-essential, and yet all the ways that we're able to help. Yeah, it is. It's all the ways that we're able to help are the part of the answer and part of the solution. And so, I know that there's places that have to is maybe not the right word, but they are getting the focus is vaccination and, helping out, kind of closing things down for the sake of current situation so that there's not the hospitals overwhelmed and all that's occurring. And at some point there has to be a new message from those in our country and from insurance agencies that health actually takes a priority, and that people, no matter how much money they're making, can actually get access to our services. I mean, we live in Santa Barbara, where it's just the weirdest thing because there is such an abundance of wealth here. And yet at the same time, there's people living in, 12 people in a house. Like I live on the west side, giant families living in small homes. I'm pretty sure that their priority is not doing a virtual fitness class, because the last thing that they want to do is be inside of their house, nor do they have any space, or they have any extra money at this time to put towards their health and wellness, because it is going towards other things that are considered essential, like groceries. And it has to be like a shift from the top down and the bottom up of like what we all put our priorities on. So one thing that came to mind as Mikki was talking too is, people aren't commuting as much for work, but are they working out anymore? Are they taking their drive time and putting it towards their health and wellness? No. And it would be great if there was this, shift in how all of us viewed, I'm kind of mind blown by like 12% of the population is considered to be in like prime metabolic health. Cause I just sometimes think of myself as like, just like everybody else. And yet the reality is I'm not. Like I take care of my body. I move my body a lot more. I put better things in my body, even when I have my vices, than most other people. But it's, education and, influence and, from both sides, from the schools, what's important, and like elementary schools, and also from our leaders of our country.
Really good feedback and advice on that. I'm wondering how you both personally have been kind of managing your sanity to support, others during this time, because it really takes a lot as leaders, as fitness leaders, as community leaders, to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself in order for you to take care of others. Mikki, do you want to speak a little bit to that? And I know it's difficult, and every day it's different, but what kinds of things do you do that help you to kind of maintain for others?
Me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So I, pretty much stay focused on, first of all, diet. I make sure that I most of my food from the farmer's market, and I eat really healthy, vegetables, and, I pretty much follow the nutritional approach that I recommend to my clients. And I think that really helps to keep me on track. I'm really a big believer in getting quality of sleep. And so I have this Oura ring, which measures the quality of your sleep. And so when I get a good night's sleep and, get, REM, and, it shows me my heart rate variability, how stressed out I am, what my resting heart rate is, all these different metrics that kind of let me know if I'm getting stressed out and if I'm taking care of myself very well. So that's another thing that I do. And I love exercise. So it's not hard for me to keep on track with that. And anybody that I'm working with, and I do encourage my clients by letting them know, if they if they start getting, the media, if you watch all the media, television, and all of the numbers on COVID and all of that, you can get pretty wound up. And so I remind all of my clients that they have metabolic health. They have the 5 metrics that you can measure: HDL, triglycerides, waist circumference, blood pressure, and blood sugar. If you have optimal measures in all of those 5 metrics without the use of medication, you have optimal metabolic health. So chances are, no guarantees in life, if they were to become infected with COVID, they would probably do okay. They might not even know they had it. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. Those people who used to be proactive about their health maybe have a little advantage in this situation. And I would encourage everyone that I talk to that, really how important it is for us to change our lifestyles. If people, our world has become so sedentary, and that's kind of the norm for a large amount of population. And I think, this is really a wake-up call for people, to realize that we really actually have the power to control, for the most part, our health, depending on our choices. And, for those people who are making great choices, I think that this, I remind them that's really what they can do, and that, they shouldn't be too stressed out about it. That's how I help.
Smart. Well, that's really smart to think about, like how much media you're ingesting, reminding yourself, how you can take care, and that way you're more likely to be healthy if you keep up these activities. Adrienne, how do you take care of yourself so you can take care of others?
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old, and she's, talking about sleeping is like, I feel like sometimes I'm back in the newborn stage of things, because she's currently likes to crawl into our bed and sleep with us. And I don't have one of those rings, but I would just gauge based on how I wake up that I'm like, I don't really think the quality of sleep I'm getting is the best. However, that's just the situation. Like I could do something about it or I can't. And so I always default to what can I can control. What I can't necessarily control her, would like to think that I can, but that's a power struggle that it's like most of the time don't have energy for. And the biggest thing is what I take in. So I know from just my visceral response to looking at anything, whether it's on social media or the news, or just even talking to certain people that are just overly political, or the only thing that they talk about is the news, is I don't spend a lot of time in that world, because my spirit just can't handle it right now. And if I want to show up well for my family, for my daughter, for my community, and keep things moving forward in a way that I really believe is possible, I have to really manage that. And so, I'll catch myself. It's almost like an instant response to, I'll get curious about what's, happening. Even politically, I was just talking to my husband about something yesterday, and then noticing just how I start to get a little bit anxious. And at that moment in time, I can choose to continue the conversation or not. And I have to say, I don't feel like I have the ability mentally sometimes to handle the things that I would have been able to handle otherwise. Just trying to carry all the load, similar to Mikki, is I have a lot of teachers still at my studio. They teach a couple classes, mostly one class a week. But I had a studio manager, and I had someone helping me with all the behind the scenes stuff. And so now when I'm having to upload classes, figure out technical stuff, do all the social media, do the graphic design. It's like, I just want to move my body and teach good yoga classes, but I have to do everything now. And so I can't handle all the extra stress that kind of the world will bring on. If I know that I'm taking care of myself well and the people in my life well and offering a service that I know makes a difference, those are the things that I know will keep me free from getting sick and getting others sick.
Very smart ladies here. We have getting some really good advice on how to take care of ourselves. I'm wondering, our downtown is in a major transition. We're in this emergency ordinance where we've created this promenade, and there's a lot of changes, some good, some not so good. We're right in the middle of stay-at-home order as this is being recorded. What types of things, what do you see in the future of downtown? Like, ideally, if you can envision, this all playing out and some really positive things coming out of it, what would you both like to see as we kind of come out of this pandemic and we re-envision this space? Mikki, would you like to go first?
Yes. So yeah, I'm really clear about what I would like to see in Santa Barbara.
Excited to hear about it.
So I would like to see a healthy population. So I have to, agree with Adrienne that most of what we see in downtown Santa Barbara is probably healthier than, what's going on in a lot of other parts of the world, in the country, actually, even in. And then, there's been so much talk about downtown and the promenade and, all of the changes and homelessness. So what I'd really like to see is a thriving downtown with lots of housing in the downtown corridor, both rental and, property that people own. And a beautiful promenade on State Street. And, because we know that State Street is so long, I'd like to see all of the different districts really like marketed as different parts, of State Street, so people could be, clear about, going to the theater district or another district. And then the end to homelessness.
Yes, we really need spaces for people to live, people to be taken care of, to get the service they need. This situation has caused an increase in just the challenges people are facing, and we're seeing all of that display in the many ways that it's facing our country, but right in front of us, right downtown on State Street. So we're seeing all those different forms come out. And so I love your vision, and I've always wanted to have a very healthy downtown. I think I first met Adrienne through a project I was coordinating on Cabrillo called Open Streets, and I think she taught a yoga class in the middle of the street there. And so I'm always trying to think about ways that our community can be healthy and productive and thriving. And I just love thinking about that vision and all the ways that could materialize. I love thinking about walking groups, lunchtime, morning time, different people connecting and talking about local issues. So I'm on board with you. I like it. Adrienne, tell us what you envision for the future of downtown.
Yeah, I recently saw the work that they were doing on, I think it's at the old Forever 21 building, of all the pictures of possible places where some of the bigger buildings that could be apartments. And I'm like, I never even started thinking about that until we've obviously are seeing so many commercial spaces be vacant. And so it's, I guess, addressing like where there can be places for people to live in either apartments or places that people can purchase, and then also like realistic rent for businesses, because like it's just really sad and dismal. And it didn't start with the pandemic. It was before that, of just like how many places were vacant on State Street, and from I mean, and not just on State Street, but that's just where you can see it mostly in, and like I don't know what businesses can go in there, but it's just like having there be more possibility for entrepreneurs, because that's what our country is made on, is, you know, small business owners creating jobs for people and new opportunities for the people in our area. From like the actual street standpoint, like I think it would be epic to see more kind of like, I don't know, kind of like that Venice Beach style, like things where there's like places for people to kind of get in little exercise stuff, and, you know, playgrounds for kids and like green space. And it just would be neat to have that be incorporated. It's not just State Street's not just a place that you go to do business and eat or shop, but it's actually a place that you participate in meeting people for community.
All sounds really good. What else should people know about each of your businesses? How can they support you? And how would you suggest people right now support other businesses downtown as well? Let's see, Adrienne, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, we have, you know, we're doing the outside classes, like as you mentioned, on Soho's patio, and we offer 1 class a day outdoors. And then we have the virtual options, but the thing that we're pushing right now is our on-demand membership, where people can take yoga classes that are pre-recorded. Either most of them are classes that I've taught that are either pre-recorded to a live class virtually, or they're classes that I've specifically set up for learning something or expanding a new part of your body. So like, let's say for instance, you know, you're sitting at a desk all day and you don't even realize like your upper body is super tight, and there's a class designed specifically for that someone can take at any point in time. So that's like something that I'm putting a little bit more energy into, and really want people to have the access to get release and freedom in their body no matter what. Even like from now into the future, you're traveling, you know that you're going to take like a solidly instructed yoga class from a teacher that you trust. And you know, especially if you're in town, is like supporting it's a one-man show over here for the most part. And you know, we don't have like a deep pocket, and no trust funds are happening to keep this business afloat. And so just by doing that, whether someone can attend and take a class here and there, it's worth it. It's for us, for our community, and for what we want to see happen when we can actually, you know, reconvene in person again.
And is that a one-off thing that they can take one, or they can have set up as a subscription or membership? So it's a monthly, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they can do it right now. We're offering a 2 weeks free to our on-demand, and then otherwise it's a monthly subscription.
Great. Well, people can explore, get into it, feel good for 2 weeks, and then they're going to be hooked. I can tell, because the capacity will be lovely. Mikki, tell us how people can get involved in Fitness Transform, and how they can support your business.
Yeah, so right now we're just offering virtual classes, or virtual training, I should say. So we're going to do, or I am going to do a 25% discount on introductory packages. So that's 4 weeks of training. And, you know, either privates or semi-privates. We have a group together, or doubles, whichever people want. And for the first 5 people who sign up, they get a free copy of Your Primal Body.
All right, very cool. Love that. So 4 weeks, a special on individual. So this is someone who really wants to go deep with you and be instructed directly. So this is not a group class. This is a one-on-one, or one on a couple people.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one, or 2 people, or, you know, a group of 3 or 4. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds like a great way to really focus on what they want to focus on. And then we have group classes, or on demand with Adrienne. How would you all Those are wonderful offerings. Thank you. Those are exciting. And I think and really invite our community to take advantage of those. What would you share about how other people can support maybe collaborators, different businesses that either you support, or how can they can continue to support downtown during this unique moment in time?
I'll go. So I think, you know, my heart goes out to the restaurants because I think they don't have, I mean, they are doing takeout, but I think it's really minimal. And, when they had to shut down their outdoor dining, I think that was really, really hard on them. So they don't have the option to, go online and, change their service in that way, but so my feeling is if you can, support the local restaurants, and, at least, as you can. It's always a nice treat to, get something, from downtown, and because that's what I see being downtown. I mean, people spent, they did all of these parquettes out there, and they're just sitting out there right now, and they invested money in that as well as an option, to try to continue to move on. So that would be my wish, is to encourage people to go out and get some takeout food from the restaurants on street.
Absolutely. I really agree with you on that. And our restaurants really help the rest of our downtown community stay alive and support our retailers that are nearby them, and just kind of create an atmosphere. So we really want to make sure that our restaurants get through this moment in time. And there's so many ways that you can support a local restaurant through, order via Grubhub, call them up, go by and just do some takeout, or buy a gift certificate as well. All ways that you can do things. And some of our restaurants are offering unique kind of online, like learn how to build a cocktail, or learn how to do some kind of a meal. So there are a lot of innovative ways that you can get to know our downtown chefs and business owners. Thank you. Great suggestion. Adrienne, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think anytime that you can go to the places that, like, I'm looking across the street to Celadon House that sells furniture and house home goods. And, it's been across the street from my studio as long as I've been here. And I have never gone in there because I don't actually spend that much time decorating my house. But it's just really easy. We've gotten really used to shopping, and I'm not going to lie, I do it too, is like shopping online for things, because I can just get it delivered to my house and it's easy, and then I can return it. And it's like just looking for the opportunities where we can support local furniture places, local, clothing shops, toy stores, every place that's staying alive is, and it's also nice to just go in and we can still do that. Like, they're still open in that, some of them are still open in that capacity where we can still go in and shop and see another person. That can be like your outing for the day, right?
True.
If we're able to go to grocery stores, then we can still do that. And what Mikki said of just supporting local restaurants. My husband and I don't eat out that much, but when I look at, certain days of the week, it's like Wednesdays become our eat out day, and at night for dinner. And then it'd be nice if we can go to a place and do it, like have dinner outside at this moment in time, but it's still, go grab something to eat and sit at the beach or sit at the park, be outside while you're having your lunch, or have, like a sunset dinner, so that you can still feel like you're getting out.
Absolutely. So really great suggestions, wonderful ways that you all are offering ways people can stay healthy and fit, and wonderful suggestions. Before we start to wrap up here, I think I want to ask Emily if there's any questions from our audience, and then talk a little bit about our next shows.
Yeah, so we have one question, and it's about if people are interested in signing up for your programs, what is the best way to do that?
Ooh,
Yes.
very good question. Tell us your website, your phone numbers, the address. Give all the folks the deep. Mikki, go.
Okay, yeah, I forgot that part. So if you go to my website, it's transform.com, fitness transform, all one word.com. And you'll see there's a place where you can click on contact us, just fill out the form, and let us know what you're looking for. Let me know, because I'll be there. And I'll respond to you, I'll get right back to you. So fitnesstransform.com. Thank you for reminding us.
Wonderful. And Adrienne, what is your website and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our website's powerofyourown.com. And one thing that I didn't mention is we have a program. I led one program in November. It's called 30 Days to Level Up. And it's a combination of meeting once a week virtually with a group, basically for accountability. And it's taking just aspects of your life and bringing a theme to your day to live fully where you are, to look where you want to go and to move into action, connect with what matters most, and to create joy. And so there's information on our website for that as well. And that's something that, you can do and house completely by yourself, or you can join this group and share and have this accountability once a week. And that starts on January 17th. And all the information is at our website, and that one's powerofyourown.com/uplevel.
Wonderful. Very cool. Good stuff here. Lots for people to think about and get involved in. People can find out more about all kinds of downtown businesses at our website at downtownsb.org. And I want to just share a little bit about next week's show. We are going to be talking with a couple restaurants. Speaking of restaurants, we have Mitchell from Bouchon and Ruben Perez with Black Sheep and Tony from Los Arroyos. So we have very exciting stuff going on there. And then we have every Thursday at 3 for the next quite some time, a lot of different business owners downtown. Emily, do you want to share about this exciting issue of the Independent that just came out?
Yeah, so obviously today's topic is all about fitness, but I think that is just one portion of self-care in general. And I think with everything happening, and we kind of touched on it, whether it's eating outside or just taking time to do something that will make you feel better, is so important right now. And the issue that we published today is a themed issue all about self-care. So there's some personal essays in there from not only writers, but all our staff. And it's just kind of a nice issue to start off the year, especially if you're looking for that self-care aspect.
Beautiful. And lastly, I just want to mention that our State Street Promenade Market is starting up next Thursday, 3 to 7:30. So you can shop safely outside our local artisans, local goods from downtown businesses. And we look forward to seeing everybody all on our next show next Thursday. So thank you, Mikki. Thank you, Adrienne and Emily, for a great conversation. It's always wonderful to spend time with you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Right. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thanks to all who chimed in today, and we'll hope to see you out on the beach, in a yoga studio, or online moving dogs. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.